but he is going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer, and there are moments, 4 or 5-minute moments, he takes over games. He has moments of brilliance. Drives me nuts. I don't think he's built for the playoffs, but let's just talk about that first. I'll wade into the pool. LeBron, Russell, Westbrook. You like it?
Well, listen, I understand it is a questionable fit because both guys always have the ball in their hands. And historically, LeBron teams are the best the more shooting you surround them with. And the thing Russell does worst is shoot the basketball. With that said, the Lakers would have rolled to the NBA Finals last year if LeBron were healthy in the playoffs, let alone if LeBron and AD were healthy in the playoffs. This move helps ensure LeBron gets to the playoffs healthy because Russ will win you regular season games. Russ, as you mentioned, will win you segments of games when LeBron plays and win you games when he doesn't. So I think that's valuable. I also think LeBron is one of the only guys in the league, if there is anybody in the league, that Russ will defer to. So I understand the questionable fit from a shooting standpoint, which is why Wayne Ellington is actually somewhat important. Carmelo Anthony's somewhat important. We can get to them because you got to surround him with shooting. But I like the idea of it. And emotionally speaking, I love Russ. So I'm excited to see if LeBron can do for Russ and Melo what he did for Kyrie and Kevin Love and Chris Bosh and Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard, which is great players who had never been a part of winning. LeBron brings them in, and all of a sudden they're champions. So I want to see if that can happen.
Okay, now let's pivot to the NBA's antique store known as the Lakers. Carmelo Anthony, Wayne Ellington. It should be... listen, no cheap shots. I just don't buy... Malik Monk leads the Lakers to a title, which is what everybody in L.A. is trying to convince me of this morning. Kent Bazemore dominates Kevin Durant. Okay, so this is the oldest roster in league history, and you're okay with it?
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. So listen, America, I would tell you to go back and rewatch Colin's opening 11 minutes. But if you don't have DVR, you can't do that. Don't worry, because it will be replayed on the internet over and over and over again right around the time the Lakers are winning the Western Conference to advance to the finals. But if you were to replay it, there's two words you would not hear once. LeBron James. You'd hear Kendrick Nunn mentioned 3 times. You'd hear, oh, Malik Monk's going to lead them. No, LeBron's going to lead them. You know, the guy who was the league MVP last year until the doofus from Atlanta, Solomon Hill, throttled into his ankle and threw the year off. So, is Carmelo old? Yes, he's old. But here's the thing, Colin. Aside from the Bucks, like, who's the contender that's not old? The Warriors are old. The Heat's big offseason additions were Kyle Lowry and P.J. Tucker, who are combined 72 years old. That's old. The net, you were saying the prime is 25 to 30. Well, then the Nets have 3 guys out of their prime, or in Kyrie's case, exiting their prime, yet somehow you love Patty Mills, who's going to be 33 in a couple months. Like, so maybe you're going to say the finals is going to be Nuggets-Bucks, because the Nuggets are young, and the Bucks, we both love the Bucks. Maybe it'll be them. I think in the NBA, you win with old guys. Now, the Warriors tried to get younger. They just drafted an 18 and a 19-year-old. Those guys will play 0 minutes. But America, let me tell you something before I give it back to Colin on his show. What's happening right here is Colin is trying to speak something into existence. Because here's what Colin Cowherd does not need. Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony to be NBA champions. Colin Cowherd doesn't need that in his life. Not after 15 years of slander of the Syracuse great Carmelo and the relentless effort Russell. So he's just trying to speak this bad juju into existence. Dwight Howard, 2-time champion. Colin doesn't need that either.
Yeah.
So he's just talking bad about the Lakers.
All right.
That's what's happening here.
By the way, okay, let's just segue to the next story. So I think we may agree on this.
Yeah, no problem.
So as much as I love you, I wouldn't pay you $36 million not to work for me next year. With the right
That's fair.
To sign you to a 4-year deal, which, by the way, sometimes you disappear. You're not very verbal. You just, I can't even figure Nick out. The Clippers are going to pay Kawhi $36 million. He won't play next year because there's no reason to come back and risk it, and he's always hurt. For the right, by the way, to sign him to a 4-year deal. And when he doesn't play next year, he'll have played 48% of their games, hurt team chemistry. I think I'm the only person on the planet. I don't understand. I would move. I know that sounds crazy. I'm not doing it. I'd move off him. I can't do that.
Well, so there's the Kawhi Leonard story is so fascinating for a bunch of reasons. Here's one of them. Why hasn't he re-signed yet? Like, whenever people are like best remaining free agents, Kawhi's name is still at the top. Like, and there isn't any real reporting on this because Kawhi doesn't talk to anybody.
Right.
But if I'm the Clippers, I'm, less than thrilled about a number of things. The first of which is, before any of the free agency stuff started, it sure seems to me like our colleague Skip Bayless knew about Kawhi's surgery before the Clippers did. That would bother me. It bothered me. Like, I got to find out by watching Undisputed. You can't give me a phone call. So that's already something that's irritating. But the other part is what you're talking about, which is this is a really odd spot where Kawhi, I think he's going to resign. I think he's going to resign a 1+1, which is what you're talking about, a 2-year contract that's really a 1-year contract, and then be able to opt out of it and be a free agent again. And it's like, so you're going to be able to hold us hostage again. You're not going to play, I would imagine, all of this year. Now, do I still do it? Yeah, because what other option do you have? Like, now, let me put it like this. If he signs the 1+1, I would sign him to that. But then if he opts out and wants a 4-year deal, next year, theoretically, Colin, James Harden's a free agent.
No.
Durant, Kyrie are free agents. Jimmy Butler's a free agent. Bradley Beal's a free agent.
I'd take them all.
If, let's say the Nets thing doesn't work out and Harden says, I want to leave, or Bradley Beal finally says, I've had enough, I think you make a strong argument.
Yep.
You'd be better off with one of those guys paired up with Paul George than Kawhi. As great as he is, Colin, I don't trust his health, and I feel like he's not going to communicate with me and let me know what's going on.
Yeah, listen, I've been critical of James Harden, but his ability last year to elevate teammates and distribute, he became a 30-10 guy. I would take him overnight. And say what you want about Harden, he communicates, he talks. Everybody that's played with him likes him. I mean, he's an engaging fellow.
100%.
Yeah. All right, so let's segue to the NFL. I think the Niners will eventually get something for Garoppolo despite his injuries because Sam Bradford, Carson Wentz, teams get desperate. They just get desperate in this league. There's about 8 great quarterbacks and 10 others that are okay. So the Colts are in a situation where you could argue, well, the division's lousy. Let's just go with Jacob Eason. But their first 5 games are 5 losses. I think Phillip Rivers is kind of viable. What would you do if you ran the team at quarterback right now?
Well, so I think the Phillip Rivers thing is super viable, Colin, because it's not just the first 5 games. Their first 8 games, aside from week 6 against Houston, it's brutal. You could easily be look at that. They're underdogs at home against Seattle. They're underdogs at home against the Rams, according to the current lines. They will be underdogs in Tennessee. They'll be underdogs in Miami. They'll be underdogs in Baltimore, give them the win against Houston. Then they're underdogs at San Francisco, and then call it a pick 'em against the Titans at home. That's brutal. And, Colin, this is a great roster.